I want to do next is using a base that I've just found that has a nice blue-green tint to it. I'm going to take that and I'm going to use another piece that I had that was a totem that lost, broke a piece that had been on the top of it, and I cleaned that off. Wasn't really sure what to do with this. Well, I think what I'm going to do is take this burgundy piece off, which means taking a razor blade to the silicone here and taking that out, and then using this punch bowl, which has a much bluer tint to it than this one, which has much more yellow tint to it. So we'll use that on this base, taking the burgundy off because I really don't think that works for me with the burgundy piece. And if you had watched a previous video, I had this blue goblet I really wanted to find a use for. Well, I think what I can do is put that inside to give it some extra interest and color, and then put my punch bowl on the top for another solar fountain bird bath. This probably doesn't have enough room in there for the solar lights, but because the ones I have are 100 bulb and they're a pretty long string. If I can find a shorter string of maybe 25 to 30 bulbs, I might consider using that instead. So those are some ideas. What I'm going to get started with today is cleaning up these glass pieces, taking this burgundy piece off, and getting ready to build this bird bath, which of course is why you're here, to see me put that together. And then I'm going to try to get around to filming the creation of this other one in the big green base. All right, let's see where we go with this. You might be able to see that I'm slowly carving out this silicone, which unfortunately I've done a really good job of sealing. Now to undo that, eventually I can find a spot where my razor blade can get under that seal, and I'll just keep working that around till I've been able to pull this off and then scrape and clean the rest of the silicone off. It's something you got to be careful because you've got a razor blade, and of course you're dealing with glass, so you don't want to cut yourself. But if you're careful and diligent, you'll get that silicone off and peel that piece off. All right. We are finally there. This piece is off. We'll have to clean that up in order to use it again. But what we want to do is get this cleaned off, because that's going to be the part that we're going to add as a base for this, which I think that'll work well with the other blue piece that we showed you for the base. So that's the direction we're going right now. What I'm going to do now is, I've cleaned up my glass. I'm going to take a layer of silicone around here and fasten this down in the center. And again, I have my turntable to help me make sure I'm in the center. Okay, I'm going to quickly that going. I don't know, this tube of silicone was starting to dry on me, so let's see what we got. We're good. Maybe not good. It's hard because not everything is centered up as well as you'd like. in terms of pieces. And as I've probably mentioned it before, the idea that your rims of things like glasses are exactly parallel to the base is not always true. I mean, these are crafted items that sometimes, you know, they've got some variation in them. All right, this doesn't have to be entirely waterproof sealed, because it's going to be under the other piece, and this won't be an outside seam, but you still want to try to make sure you've got them sealed the best you can, and you don't want a lot of excess silicone that would be there kind of clouding things up. I think I'm going to leave that as is for the moment, let it dry. I cleaned up my other piece that's going to sit on top of it. Okay, we'll be back when we're going to do the next two steps. I could put the punch bowl on top of this base and have that ready to be put on this. Maybe I'll do that. Okay. Decided I could go ahead and put this punch bowl on the cylinder base while waiting for the other piece to dry and for me to make up my mind about whether or not I want to put solar fairy lights inside. So we will put a layer of silicone. What you have to do too is dry fit these a little bit to make sure that you know what your contact edges are, you know, what, so that you know where to apply the silicone, you know, what surface is touching what surface. Okay, and again, I want to make sure I'm as centered as possible. Sometimes you get air bubbles, you're going to pop those out, and so I'm happy with that. So we will let this dry and our base piece dry, and we will make a decision on those fairy lights. While we are waiting for our blue pieces to dry to complete our next bird bath and fountain, let's put this one together quickly to give you an idea of how we can have another tabletop totem. Now, if you're not interested in this, skip through. I don't want you to miss the final product in terms of the bird bath fountain, but let's just show you how quickly some of these can go together. Once you have your pieces cleaned up and ready to go, it's usually a pretty quick process. Now, I've told you before, it depends on whether you're going to be outside in a, you know, in the weather with these pieces, or tabletop. Tabletop doesn't have to be as waterproof seals on some of these. Now, I also mentioned about color. This plate is not a solid red tinted glass. It's been painted on the bottom, and you can see here and there some chip spots where the color has flaked off. That'll be okay inside for the application I'm doing, but if that, you know, if that bothers you, then don't pick up those pieces. Don't have my turntable sitting here ready to go. I've got my other piece on it, but I'm going to try to estimate hitting the bottom in the center. I think we're pretty good there. Let's finish up this last tabletop totem that we were working on. I took some time with my alcohol inks to get a little crazy with the marble on top. Combination of purple, red, and I have some silver. I thought, what the heck. I'm not entirely happy with what I've done inside with the alcohol inks, but I think it'll do. Been a couple of days, but we finally have took delivery of our smaller package of fairy lights, solar fairy lights. So I have those ready to go because I don't think I'm going to need as many in this construction. The other set I had was 100 of them. This one I think is 50. It's not as long. Okay, so we're going to quickly get these. Well, we're going to try to quickly get these ready to go. This is a pretty long string. I'm going to try to curl them a bit, or at least get them a little less kinked than they were out of the package. This might be the hardest part. Okay. All right. Chalk that up to good luck. It's going to be okay. Rethink this. Let's go. Let's do this. I actually have some tape. Okay, I wanted to put the stronger cord on the outside. All right, let's see what we can do to flip this and make some sense out of this. All right, I'm gonna take a minute to fiddle with that, but that's how we're gonna work. We're gonna have to put some silicone on the bottom of it, and it'll be an interesting little exercise in getting this all to sort out just right. But I'll be back with you. Sometimes you just have to start over again. So I decided maybe doing it upside down, well, would work better. So I cleaned out all the silicone that got stuck on everything. And I'm going to start over again. I've got a mess with the silicone. All right. So my helper hands are over here, ready to help. This might actually be okay. Except that it's not as easy to see the placement. Another reason I have the turntable, so I can spin it and see where we're at. All right, I think I'm okay. You see, and we should be good. All right, we'll try some more things after this dries. We got a couple other projects. We have another fountain we might try